time to do our review for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It was directed by Wes Ball. So we've got this movie that is, 300 years after the Matt Reeves films?
Yeah, it doesn't tell you in the movie. It just says many generations later. But I looked up interviews last night, and Wes Ball said it takes place 300 years after War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, so right off the bat, this movie is ridiculously slow to start. It is.
Very slow.
We're going to get into some spoilers, I imagine, but this is one of those movies
Everybody dies at the end.
When I say the term aggressively average, that this might be the definition of aggressively average.
Yeah.
I just wanted something unpredictable to happen, and it never did.
Yeah.
Well, I saw people online last night calling it Maze Runner 4.
And so to your point, when we were talking about this when we were coming home, you said that you felt this was a young adult movie, but it's a young adult apes movie.
Yeah, and what's funny, so I did more research into it when I got back to the hotel last night, and supposedly it was pitched as Apocalypto but with apes.
Okay.
And I can kind of see it, but it has. I can kind of see it, but it has all the trappings.
Where's the gore?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I need some gore. I need some nudity. That's what I wanted on my Apes movie. There's not a single shot of realistic, what apes are like from my experience at the zoo. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
What? I don't think I do.
Oh, I gave the writers and not the stars. I apologize. I was like, what is it stars Freya Allen, Kevin Durand, and Daishin Lockman. Calling Daishin Lockman one of the stars is pushing it. She was in like the last 5 minutes of the film.
She's not even on screen for 5 minutes. She's
no.
on
You said
screen
Freya
for 2.
Allen, right? The girl from the Witcher.
Yeah. Which I think they should have gotten.
She was a good casting choice, I thought.
I thought they should have gotten the girl who played X-23 in Logan.
I'm not saying I don't think she is beautiful, but I do think she was good casting because she looks Paleolithic.
Okay. And Kevin Durand is who plays Proximus, as we said, could play Elon Musk in a movie if we needed him to. I saw somebody in the chat earlier say Brett likes to drop C and D list actors. I'm about to do that right now because he did a single episode of the show Republic of Doyle starring Alan Hocko in a random episode that had who was it from American Gangster? Not Denzel, but
who was the other guy there? It's been so long.
But the point is he's an actor that he's mainly a film actor. But look at this guy; he could totally play Elon Musk.
Yeah, there are other pictures that he could play Elon in a biopic.
It's awesome.
But he says he studied Elon Musk for his role in this as Proximus Caesar.
And that is the point: is they made this ridiculous claim.
2069 or
He's not. He's not Reddit enough to have any similarity. Really.
One thing people will probably ask is a lot of people really love the motion capture and the CGI from the Matt Reeves films.
Yeah.
I think up close, the animation work that's done on the faces of the apes is very, very, very good. The problem is when you go to mid and far shots, it's very hard to differentiate characters.
Yeah, and a lot of them are naked. I mean, I know Mary doesn't like nudity in movies.
Naked apes, that's a problem.
I was very happy that this movie embraced the nudity aspect of the apes.
Great.
Look,
I mean, obviously,
I wish they were wearing something so that from far away I could know who was who.
Because Proximus does. Proximus has something on.
I don't like looking at apes. I don't like hearing
monkey?
I really didn't like hearing their monkey intonations and the way that they breathe. I hate that. The whole thing was so distracting. And then they did a good job putting emotion on ape faces and everything. Then they gave them whites in their eyes and stuff, but I just hate looking at apes. I don't like them.
I was looking at their faces why the frick couldn't Disney do this for The Lion King?
No, but it's because lions look less like people, okay?
Yeah.
But I really didn't like that, and I knew I wasn't going to like that.
The CGI,
no surprise there.
The CGI had its ups and downs. The other thing that I noticed is the CGI of the apes was serviceable for most of it. There were some shots where after he falls down off the tower near the beginning and he's covered in ash, it looked really amazing. the birds, the eagles, did not look good.
No, especially at the end. It looked like they spent more time animating them in the beginning when the characters were being introduced, rather than at the end where they were played the most important role.
Yeah.
And they like they lands back birds on the arm. I'm like, wow, I can literally see the lines.
They look like cartoon birds at the end. But the CGI is not the biggest problem with the movie. The biggest problem with the movie is that he's taking his rite of passage as a young man, right? Or young monkey man, right? And so he's
ape bar mitzvah.
Ape mitzvah is coming up, and of course their place gets burned down. He goes on this quest, and then it kind of plays into the young adult tropes where it's like, oh, this authority figure, this bad kind of male authority figure, I have to rebel against him because it's like
Rocco.
No, not Rocco. Proximus.
Okay.
This, I have to rebel against him. I'm this young man, and I'm rebelling against, like this male authority figure. And so it felt, a lot of the stuff kind of felt like young adulty type tropes in it.
I didn't read it like that. I mean, it would have been cool if it were like, if he found out that he came to save his people and they didn't want to be saved, right? Like, and they actually like drank the Kool-Aid for Proximus. Like, that would have been interesting. It would have been interesting if May actually betrayed the chimps. Like, it would have been cool if maybe she like tried to genocide them, or if she like tried to murder suicide all of them, or something like interesting. But it was just very by the book, like very
I think what
predictable.
I think what one of the biggest problems is that the main conflict doesn't even really come into the story until like an hour and 45 minutes in.
It takes so Proximus is the bad guy, and it takes forever to get to him in the movie.
Yeah,
it does.
And so the issue is you have this whole like kind of slow build up where he's sort of on this journey, right? And I mean, in the story structure for the movie is straight out of Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. It's like you can point to like almost everything happening in the movie and point exactly on the hero's journey where that is. So like the way that it's structured feels very like, like written by template. But he doesn't get to Proximus until very late in the film. And then it's like, we're like already an hour 30, hour 40 minutes in. They could have
shown Proximus before he gets to
and
the
so
camp.
So what happens is that you have this like slow build up that really doesn't the characterization is fairly shallow. Like the whole movie's fairly shallow and bland. But by the time they get to Proximus, now everything goes a lot faster, and you don't really get to know Proximus that well.
He should have been in the very beginning.
Yeah, you don't
he
really
should have been the first thing like. There's a whole scene at the very beginning of them climbing to the nests.
Yeah,
cut it out. Get rid of it. It doesn't need to be
I told
there.
you that I was like, is this an Uncharted cutscene?
Yes.
Because it looks like a cutscene from Uncharted.
Cut that whole scene and start with the massacre at their land.
Yeah.
But have Proximus there, and that's your introduction to the bad guy right off the bat.
Well, and what really works with an antagonist like Proximus, I mean, when you look at the other Planet of the Apes, there is actually a strong connection between the protagonist and the antagonist, right? And so then you actually feel something, even if the antagonist dies at the end. You feel something for it because you understand the antagonist, and maybe it's like you can make it more tragic. Whereas Proximus talks to Noah for all of like 3 minutes, and then Noah's immediately like, yeah, screw this guy.
But then they try to kind of do it at the end when you get the very inevitable scene with him and May, and he says Proximus was right. I'm like, that would mean more if you guys spent more time together on screen.
Exactly. Like they had one little conversation together, and that was about it. One small conversation. It's like that's not enough to actually really establish any kind of chemistry between two what are supposed to be lead roles. And the other issue is when they said that his name was Noah, I was like, oh great, is there gonna be a flood?
We gave you a spoiler alert. Yes, there's a flood.
Yeah, but it's not even a spoiler. I knew that from the second I heard his name Noah. I'm like, they're gonna.
Don't worry, it's Noah with no H, so it's very modern. It's very modern, guys. I do think that Kevin Durand does a great job voicing Proximus. I think he gets that. I think he gets the tone right there. I think he's a better voice actor than a lot of the other voice actors for
for the monkeys because.
Except for Raka, who is the best character in the whole damn movie.
And he's only in it for like 15 minutes.
Gone! As soon as he went away, I go, it's just getting into it.
And that's,
Noah's a wet blanket, and I don't care about the rest of this crap.
Noah's just kind of like this protagonist who really doesn't have a whole lot going on with him character-wise. And I guess the idea is that you just sort of project yourself onto him. You know, he feels like one of those like blank slate protagonists.
But it's not good. Like that's the thing. Like neither Noah nor Freya's her, nor May are really all that much to write home about. And when both of your main characters are kind of middling, and your bad guy who's supposed to be really, really evil and hard to topple doesn't come in until you've had your first bathroom break, what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
what do you want me to do?
And that's what made like the.
And William H. Macy's in there, and I'm just like, you're not. No, just it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, and one of the big problems is that they introduce characters that could be interesting or are interesting for times, but then those interesting characters get killed off or they exit the story in some way not long after they come in. So so we're following this like wet blanket of a dude, and I'm like, come on, like. Why didn't you keep this character? If you want him to get killed off, why not like have this actually interesting character die later on, and so that you can develop these relationships, and you can actually make us more emotionally invested in what's happening.
I want William H. Macy to stay alive and teach Raka how to read. And you know what? I don't even care. I'm just gonna spoil it. So like, what was that scene where May kills? Whatever his character was, I don't remember his name.
With her tiny little noodle
what the hell
arms?
was that?
With her tiny noodle arms.
Oh yeah, she kills William H. Macy.
I know he's an old man, but come on.
I mean, he is like shaking, and he can't keep his cup straight and stuff. But she is 85 pounds, soaking wet, and not as bad as Alicia Vikander in Tomb Raider, which is even more unbelievable, personally.
Yeah.
But,
well, there were two reasons why she was unbelievable as Tomb Raider. You guys never played Tomb Raider?
No, I didn't.
Oh, no. Laura Croft canonically has huge boobs.
Oh no, okay, I don't know. I thought you would make that joke about Angelina Jolie. Then there's two reasons. Yes, that she is believable as Tomb Raider.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Angelina Jolie.
And they weren't cone shaped enough.
I feel like
they weren't triangular enough.
After May kills the old guy, then the chimps should have been like, "Nah, you're crazy. What the fuck?" And then she would have to like hold them hostage and make them climb her up the ledge at gunpoint, and then.
Also, I just kind of don't believe it. I just kind of don't believe it that there was this whole opening just right on top of the vault that those apes who had obviously been there for a long time just never discovered.
Well, maybe they're just dumb.
Well, that's
because they're apes. But
I think the movie makes it like, oh, this is like the apes run now, and then every ape is really stupid.
Yeah, like I was like, what's the point of them gaining intelligence and the ability to speak and read if they're still living like savages? Yeah. And living in the ruins of great human society.
And they have no idea, this big ship right here must be a naturally occurring phenomenon.
And
they're just
look, at the end, they have the character of May talking to Noah.
This whole movie is a coexist bumper sticker, basically.
At the end of the movie, Noah and May are talking, and she says that was a site of human knowledge and of human experience, and apes don't belong there. I'm like, if you think that this movie was interesting enough that that's a concept that you should have introduced at the very beginning, right? Because we all know like what these movies end up being about. Human bad for the most part, or at least that's the way I always feel about it, right? And it just wasn't good enough to make me want to wait for a second movie to explore that further, because when you get to the end, her whole point of getting into this facility is to get this encryption key so that they can turn on satellites 300 years after they stopped working.
Before I forget to mention this, when they encounter humans in the wild, the savage humans who can't speak, they can't read, they have no intellect, they're all white. And then at the end, when you see all of these humans inside their remote location with all their technology who still have their intellect intact, they're all very diverse. They're very college brochure. And
we'll see.
I can't help but notice that.
It's commenting on how America is better than Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still really believe that they should do the skit where like a black actor wanted to play one of them in the wild, and they're like, we can't let you. I'm sorry. It's like the joke when they're like, Tarzan, time to race swap. I dare you. Never gonna happen in current year.
Do we know where they're supposed to be located? Like a city?
California, maybe?
What city?
Vaguely New Zealandish.
Well, I mean, like the original, or not the original trilogy, but the Matt Reeves trilogy. That was in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Also, guys, I do want to pose a question to you. So a bunch of weapons have been sitting in a non-climate controlled environment for 300 years near the water.
Yeah, literally
and she
on
just goes
the water.
pew 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 pew.
Yes. Not ammunition not properly stored, weapons not properly stored. And then of all things,
That's to say nothing of the hard drive.
Yes, the magical hard drive that still works after sitting in a damp room for 300 plus years just turns, like, not even a loading screen, just turns on instantly, and the satellites instantly start working. Now, I understand that is a nitpick.
The satellites that have been basically stripped clean for parts as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. It was look, that's the type of stuff I can overlook. That I'm just dunking it. If the movie was good, that's very easy to overlook and be like, look, I don't care about stuff like that. I did laugh because she chose like a Colt revolver that, like, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like it's not gonna jam, but if the gun shouldn't work anyways because it's been sitting that long, like, what can you do? I didn't find the movie all that engaging. I wouldn't go see it again. I thought that the CGI work done on the faces was really, really good. And if you like the Matt Reeves movies, you may enjoy this as a single watch, but I don't think you're going to find it anywhere near as engaging as those films.
The next part is Apes in Space.
Yeah, they set it up of both of them like looking at the stars, which I guess maybe means we're gonna get some Jimmy Neutron ape action. They're gonna go those carnival, like those 300-year carnival rides, and retrofit them with rockets. You know, go up into space and fight each other up there. Like, it's setting it up like some war between humans and apes, I guess. But the thing
they already did War for the Planet of the Apes. What are they going to do now? World War II for the planet. Civil War for the Planet of the Apes. Tim can produce it. It'd be great. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.